In the city of Ashenmoor, there lived a magistrate named Valen, who prided himself on solving the unsolvable. No crime was too complex, no mystery too dark. His reputation was legendary. One night, a cloaked woman appeared at his door carrying a mirror wrapped in black cloth. "For the man who seeks truth," she said, placing it in his hands. "Look into it at midnight, and you'll see tomorrow. But only once per week, and never try to change what you see. The future is a river. Step into it, and you'll drown." Before Valen could respond, she vanished into the fog. That midnight, curiosity won. Valen uncovered the mirror. Instead of his reflection, he saw tomorrow. A merchant named Orwin, lying dead in the town square, a knife in his chest. 3 people standing over him: the baker, Fen, the healer, Maris, and a stranger in a red cloak. The vision faded. The next day, Valen went to the square at the exact time he'd seen in the mirror. There was Orwin, alive, arguing with Fen about unpaid debts. Maris passed by with her medicine bag. A traveler in a red cloak browsed the market. Valen's heart raced. Should I warn him? Arrest someone? But the woman's warning echoed. Never try to change what you see. He watched, paralyzed by indecision. At precisely noon, it happened exactly as the mirror showed. Orwin clutched his chest and fell. The 3 people rushed over, trying to help, not harm. The stranger was a surgeon passing through. They attempted to save him, but failed. Orwin had a weak heart. He'd died naturally. The knife Valen saw in the vision? The surgeon's medical blade, used desperately to try to revive him. Valen had seen tomorrow, but misunderstood it completely. A week later, compelled by duty, Valen looked again. This time, he saw his own courthouse burning, his assistant, young Petra, running from the flames, clutching a ledger, and standing in the shadows, watching, the city's tax collector, Hadrian. Valen's blood ran cold. Hadrian was corrupt. Everyone knew it, but no one could prove it. Was he planning to burn the courthouse to destroy evidence? The next morning, Valen confronted Hadrian. "I know what you're planning," he said, watching for guilt. Hadrian looked genuinely confused. "Planning? I'm leaving the city today on business." That evening, Valen stationed guards around the courthouse. He sent Petra home early. He waited, determined to catch Hadrian in the act. But the fire started differently than he expected. A candle in the record room, left burning by Valen himself in his paranoia, tipped over. The flames spread fast. Valen ran inside to save the records. He was trapped by smoke when Petra, who had returned because she forgot the ledger, pulled him out. Hadrian appeared because he'd delayed his trip, having heard about the fire. Valen had seen tomorrow correctly, but his interference had caused the very disaster he'd tried to prevent. The candle was his. The fire was his fault. Shaken but obsessed, Valen looked a 3rd time the next week. He saw a child drowning in the river, the ferryman diving in to save her, and himself standing on the bridge, doing nothing. "No," Valen thought. "This time I'll act correctly. I'll save the child myself." The next day, he went to the bridge early. He saw the girl playing dangerously close to the water's edge. The ferryman was preparing his boat nearby. Valen rushed forward to pull the girl back, but she startled, stumbled, and fell into the rushing water. The ferryman dived in immediately, a strong swimmer, but Valen, panicking, jumped in too, trying to help. His thrashing disrupted the ferryman's rescue. They collided. Precious seconds were lost. The girl drowned. As they pulled her small body from the water, the ferryman turned to Valen, grief and fury in his eyes. "I could have saved her. I've done it a dozen times. Why did you interfere?" Valen stared at his shaking hands. He'd seen himself doing nothing, and that doing nothing was the right choice. The ferryman was the expert, but Valen's need to change the future had killed the child. That night, Valen smashed the mirror against the floor. but it didn't break. Instead, the cloaked woman appeared, stepping out of the glass itself. "You were warned," she said softly. "The future is not a puzzle to solve. It's not a crime scene to investigate. You saw what would happen, and every time you tried to be clever, you made it worse." "Then what's the point?" Valen screamed. "Why show me tomorrow if I can't change it?" "The mirror doesn't show you tomorrow so you can change it. It shows you tomorrow so you can understand it. The merchant's death was natural. You saw murder where there was only tragedy. The fire was your own fear made real. The drowning was your arrogance, believing you knew better than those with experience." She picked up the unbroken mirror. "You're a magistrate who solves mysteries by examining the past. But the future is not a mystery. It's a warning about who you are right now. The mirror showed you your own flaws, suspicion, paranoia, arrogance, and every time you looked, you proved it right." "Take it back," Valen whispered. "Please." "It's already gone," she said. And indeed, the mirror in her hands had turned to ordinary glass, showing only his reflection, a man who looked decades older than he had a month ago. "You still have your gift for solving crimes," the woman said as she faded. "But remember, the future is not a crime. Stop trying to solve it." Valen never saw the woman again. He remained a magistrate, still brilliant at solving mysteries, but only those that had already happened. He never spoke of the mirror, but he changed. He became more humble, more careful, more willing to let others act when they had better knowledge. And sometimes, late at night, he wondered, if he'd simply watched and learned instead of trying to interfere, would those 3 visions have been lessons instead of disasters? He would never know. But he understood now that some truths aren't meant to be changed, only accepted. Remember, seeing tomorrow doesn't give you power over it. Sometimes knowing the future only blinds you to the present.